I want to talk about something that most people do not know. There is a group of people who are chosen by heaven. Most teachers will not talk about this because it can make some people uncomfortable. They want everyone to be the same and have the chances. Heaven does not work that way. Heaven has always had a group of people who are closer to God. For example, Jesus had 12 disciples. Only 3 of them were part of his inner circle. One of them even got to lean on Jesus' chest. There were also 70 people who were sent out to spread the word of God and 120 people who were in the room. But the closer you got to Jesus, the fewer people were there. This pattern still exists today. There are people who are chosen by heaven. Then there are people who are inside the chosen group. I call these people Omega level. They are a small group of people who have a very special job to do. They are part of the 14,400 people who will help bring light to the world. My name is George. I'm not here to make anyone feel special. I am here because the Spirit has been telling me to talk to a specific group of people. I want to tell them something that's already true, something that they might have been wondering about their whole lives. I want to walk you through 9 signs that might show you if you are one of these Omega level people. The first sign is something that I call interference. Your life has been interrupted in ways. Every time something good is about to happen, something else goes wrong. A door opens, then someone you love gets sick. You get a job, but then your car breaks down. You have a breakthrough, but then an old wound comes back. You have tried to explain this to people. They just tell you it is a coincidence. They tell you that you are being dramatic. You know that it is not just a coincidence. The second sign is something that I call discernment. You can walk into a room, know what is going on. You do not have to ask anyone anything. You can sense who is lying, who is wearing a mask, and who is in trouble. You have tried to ignore this. You cannot. You have tried to give people the benefit of the doubt. Your spirit always tells you the truth. This is not paranoia, this is a gift. The third sign is something that I call the dream pattern. You have dreams that come true. You dream about people you have not thought about in years, and then you hear from them. You dream about places you have never been. Then you visit them. You dream about conversations that happen word for word. You do not talk about this because you think people will think you are crazy. You know that it is real. The fourth sign is something that I call the immunity to false comfort. You cannot get comfort from the things that most people use to feel better. You try to watch TV or go to parties or eat food or drink alcohol. It does not work for you. You feel emptier than you did before. You try to scroll through your phone. It does not fill the emptiness. Most people can use these things to feel better. You cannot. The fifth sign is something that I call the recurring battlefield. You have the battles over and over again. The same kind of betrayal, the kind of accusation, the same kind of misunderstanding. It feels personal because it is personal. The enemy has a plan to attack you. He keeps using the same plan because it has not worked yet. Every time you fight the battle, you get stronger. You are not the person you were 10 years ago. You are calmer, less reactive, and more wise. The enemy keeps sending the battle because he has not figured out anything else to do. You are getting ready for something big. You are getting ready for a job that only you can do. The recurring battlefield is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are getting stronger. It is a sign that heaven is using the training ground to develop a specific muscle in you. Look at Joseph. He did not get one betrayal, he got a sequence of betrayals. His brothers threw him in a pit, he got sold into slavery, he got falsely accused, he got thrown into prison. Every time he responded with more grace, more wisdom, and more integrity. By the time he stood in front of his brothers, he was a person. The muscle was. He was ready for what was coming. I want to tell you that if you are one of these Omega level people, you need to stop everything and pay attention. Heaven does not waste time or resources on people who are not ready. If you are hearing this, it is because you are ready. You are ready to hear the truth. You are ready to do the job that you were given. Let us continue to look at the signs that show you if you are one of these Omega level people. The sixth sign is something that I call the frustration with the status quo. You are frustrated with the way things are, you want to change them. You are frustrated with the church, with the government, with the system. You want to make a difference. You do not know how. The seventh sign is something that I call the desire for solitude. You want to be alone, you want to be quiet, you want to hear the voice of God, you want to feel His presence. You are not like people who want to be around others all the time. You are different. You know it. The eighth sign is something that I call the passion for justice. You want to see justice done. You want to see people treated fairly. You want to see the oppressed set free. You want to see the wicked punished. You are passionate about this. You cannot ignore it. The ninth sign is something that I call the sense of destiny. You know that you were born for something important. You do not know what it is. You know it is there. You can feel it, you can sense it. You are not like people who are content with their lives. You are different, you know it. If you are one of these omega-level people, you need to know that you are not alone. There are others like you. They are waiting for you. You need to find them. You need to work together. You need to use your gifts, your talents, and your abilities to make a difference. You need to change the world. You need to do it now. Heaven is waiting for you and heaven is ready for you. You just need to be ready for heaven. You need to be ready to do the job that you were given, and you need to be ready to make a difference. You are an omega-level person. You are special. You are loved. That He could cry over them, feed them, forgive them, and call it all God's plan, the God's plan that Joseph was living. That was not because Joseph was naturally that strong, the person that Joseph was. That was because the same battle, repeated 100 ways, had made Joseph into a man who could carry a nation, the nation that Joseph was called to carry. If the same thing keeps coming to your front door, it is not a curse, the curse that people talk about. It is not a pattern. You cannot break the pattern that you want to break. It is the training ground for an assignment big that you needed this exact strength developed before heaven could safely hand you the next chapter of your life. The sixth sign is the magnetism. You did not ask for the magnetism that you have. Strangers tell you things that they have not told anyone else. People you have known for 15 minutes open up about things that happened to them, things they have not told their own spouses. The cashier at the grocery store talks to you about their life, the life that they are living. The Uber driver tells you about his marriage, the marriage that he's in. The person sitting next to you on a plane tells you their life story before the seatbelt sign turns off the story that they want to share. You did not ask them to talk. You did not pry. You did not even necessarily want the conversation that you are having. There is something in your spirit that makes people feel safe, the safety that people need. There is something in your eyes that tells people you can handle it, the things that they tell you. There is something around you that pulls the broken people into your life even when you yourself feel broken, the brokenness that you feel. That is a marking, the marking of God's plan. That is not a personality trait, the trait that you have. That is a gift of anointing that the world calls charisma, the charisma that you have, but heaven calls calling, the calling that you have. The Omega tier is made this way because their assignment always involves helping other people, the people that they are called to help. They are the ones who listen, the listeners that people need. They are the ones who get to hear the secrets that the world does not get to hear, the secrets that people share. It is heavy, the weight of being a listener, the listener that you are. Do not let anyone tell you it is not the weight that you carry. It is also one of the most clear signs of what tier you are walking in, the tier that you are in. The seventh sign is the recognition by chosen ones, the chosen ones that you meet. When you meet one you both know, the knowledge that you share. There is no ceremony, the ceremony that people expect. There is no exchange of credentials, the credentials that people need. You are standing in a coffee shop or a hallway or a parking lot and your eyes meet someone and there is a connection, the connection that you feel. They feel it, the connection that they feel. You feel it, the connection that you feel. Sometimes you talk, the talk that you have. Sometimes you do not, the silence that you share. But you both walk away knowing the Omega level signal is not something you can fake, the signal that you have. People in tiers try, sometimes the tiers that they are in. They use the language that they know. They use the verses that they have learned. They sound the part that they play. The spirit does not echo back the echo that you need. There is a flatness to it, the flatness that you feel. A performance, the performance that they give. Real Omega recognizes Omega the way a tuning fork recognizes its own note. If you have spent your life feeling alone, and then occasionally once a year, once a decade, you have met someone who saw you instantly, who knew you without needing to know anything about you, who looked at you like they had been waiting for you to walk into the room. That was not just friendship. That was the kingdom recognizing itself across two bodies of flesh. It is rarer than most people realize. God does not move things without a purpose. If this message reached you today, there was a reason before you ever clicked on it. The secret protocol carries the 7 keys that reveal what was deposited in you before your birth and what the Spirit is beginning to awaken in this season. The full audiobook is included to walk with you in your moments, and the awakening map as a bonus, unveiling the 5 stages of spiritual awakening. Where you have been, where you are, and what is coming. The link is pinned in the comment. Divine windows do not stay open indefinitely. Now let me bring you into the sign, because this is where things get serious. The 8th sign is the silencing of voices. You may have noticed in the year or the last few months that voices that used to influence you do not move you anymore. Music that used to lift you sounds hollow. Influencers you used to follow seem empty. Even preachers you used to listen to feel thin to you now, like watered-down milk when your spirit is asking for meat. This is not pride. This is not you becoming arrogant. This is heaven thinning your diet down to what will actually nourish what is coming. The Omega level chosen ones go through a phase where the menu gets smaller and smaller. Not because there is out there, but because you can no longer absorb what is not real. Your spirit is being prepared for revelation, and revelation does not coexist well with noise. You will find yourself drawn to silence, to scripture without commentary, to worship without performance, to prayer without script, to the kind of stillness that most people find unbearable. You find suddenly necessary. If this is happening to you, do not fight it. Do not try to force yourself into the old rhythms. The old rhythms were fine for the tier. They will not carry you in this one. This silencing season is one of the reliable indicators that you have been moved up. Heaven does not promote you with a ceremony. Heaven promotes you by changing your appetite. Now the 9th sign, the one I have been building toward this time, the one that if it lands in your spirit you will know. The 9th sign is the burden you cannot put down. There is something inside you, something you have carried for long as you can remember. A weight, a knowing, a theme. Maybe it is a people group. Maybe it is a generation. Maybe it is a category of brokenness, addiction, abandonment, abuse, prodigals, the unreached, the religious wounded, the lost children of believers. Maybe it is a city. Maybe it is a nation. Maybe it is something specific you have barely told anyone, because the moment you say it loud it sounds either too big or too small. You have tried to put it down. You have tried to convince yourself someone else will pick it up. You have tried to live a life and pretend the burden is not there. Every time you tried, the burden came back heavier than before. You would be sitting at dinner. Your eyes would fill up out of nowhere because someone mentioned a person who fit the burden's profile. You would have to pull over because the weight hit you again. You would be in a worship service, and a single word from a song would gut you because that one word brushed against the thing you were sent here to address. That burden is your name. That burden is the assignment heaven wrote on you before you took your breath. It is not optional. It is not negotiable. It is not something that you can pass off to a qualified person because there is no more qualified person. Heaven trained you for this in private for decades while everyone else thought you were just struggling. The Omega level chosen ones are defined by the burden they cannot put down. The burden is always specific. It is never vague. It is never save the world, make a difference. It is always pointed. It is always exact. It is always something that if you described it in detail, the person hearing it would either weep or shut down. There is no ground. Jeremiah carried this kind of burden. He called it a fire in his bones. He tried to stop speaking. He tried to walk from the assignment. He told God he was done, that he was not going to mention his name, that he was going to find a life and let someone else carry the weight. Then he wrote that famous line that the fire shut up in his bones became unbearable and he could not contain it. He had to speak. He had to move. He had to obey when obeying cost him everything. That is the kind of burden I am describing. It is not a passion you picked. It is a fire that was lit inside you before you knew what fire was. You can ignore it. You can try to drown it. You can build a career and a whole identity around pretending it is not there. It will not let you go. And the day you finally stop running from it is the day your real life begins. If you know what your burden is, you already know what tier you are in. You do not need confirmation from a man on a screen. You need to stop running from the weight and start asking the one who gave it to you what he wants you to do next. Here is the hard truth most will not say. The burden is heavy precisely because you are strong enough to carry it. Heaven does not hand crushing weight to people. The weight is the compliment. The weight is the witness. The weight is the evidence that long before you were born the Father looked at you and said, this one can carry it, this one will not break under it. The Omega level is not a status, it is not a flex, it is not a badge to wear in front of believers. If you walk away from this video puffed up, you miss the point. The Omega level is the opposite of status. It is the service. It is the seat at the longest table. It is the road in the most populated kingdom. The people in this tier are not the celebrities of the faith. They are often the ones nobody knows about. The ones who pray for a city no one has heard of, in a kitchen no one has seen at 3:00 in the morning while their family sleeps. Heaven keeps a record than earth does. Earth ranks by visibility. Heaven ranks by faithfulness in obscurity. If you have been the one who was faithful in obscurity, if you have been the one who showed up when no one was watching, who prayed when no one was applauding, who carried the burden when nobody was helping, heaven sees. Heaven has always seen. Heaven is starting to move things around your life right now to bring the next chapter forward. Stop apologizing for being made the way you were made. Stop trying to shrink down to fit into rooms that were never going to hold you. Stop comparing your timeline to the people around you who are walking a different assignment at a completely different tier. Their pace is not your measurement. Their applause is not your reward.